You're so official now.
I want my name everywhere, man.
All right, Gordon.
Hey, look, I built Gordon Studio.
I know. You probably know a thing or two about getting your name everywhere now.
How I ended up.
All right, I got these backwards. All right. Yeah, I got these backwards. I'll get used to putting these on.
Yeah, rule number 1: we probably shouldn't chew gum.
Why?
Because these really expensive microphones, you just hear them.
That's what makes it even better. Be like, why does he sound like a fucking llama?
We are not doing that.
Just put the number 1 rule on that back wall, like no gum chewing.
Just look on the back wall. No gums, and put your Snapchat on silent. They go. That's
I'm glad you said that.
Every 5 seconds. Boodaloot. Boodaloot.
All right, there we go. There we go.
You can hear?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know how Gordon ended up with me to build him a studio. But it was pretty cool.
It's because you're the fucking man. That's why.
No, I think I just I don't even know. I would say I really like building studios. But they tend to turn into be quite a pain in the butt. So, but yeah, who are you working with this weekend?
That was Babyface.
Babyface.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Like I said, I didn't even know who he was. Like I knew him, but I didn't know who he was until I heard the music. I was like, wait, I know all these songs.
Yeah, that was like when I did K Michelle. They're like, yeah, we're gonna sell out this amphitheater, and
you're like, who is this?
and I'm like, with who? I was like, I know who Young Jeezy is, but who is this K Michelle chick, bro?
She rocks. K Michelle freaking rock. I remember, like I said earlier, I remember when I first saw her, and I was very impressed.
Her drummer, I didn't get his name, but they must have picked him up straight from a Baptist church. That dude did not stop playing. Like from sound check on, we sound checked, and he's like, I got to run over the set real quick because she just called me a few days ago. Like, it doesn't look like you're struggling, man.
Yeah,
good job.
those Baptist church drummers, man. Who would win off in a drum battle? One of them versus a metal drummer.
One of them. No hate to metal drummers, but the taste that comes out of some of them drum fills is just it'll make you quit playing drums, man.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we still don't even have a name for this thing yet. Of course, he wants to call it Sham, SHAM.
That's the comical side of it.
We want to name this podcast Some Horny Old Men.
I mean, it's an accurate representation.
Neither of us are even close to 40 yet.
I mean, yeah.
Well, never mind. Yeah, I am. I am close to 40.
If you take into account what the military has done as far as aging us goes, then yeah, we're over 40.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we're
you're still looking pretty good with the frosted tips, man. Just like remembering the 90s here. In sync.
Backstreet's back. All right.
I remember when I had I had a poster of Britney Spears hanging up on the wall. I thought she was the hottest thing since sliced bread, man. But I mean, hey, that's like Chase Tyler and Dolly Parton. I think we still have a sign of Dolly Parton hanging up in the practice studio.
Somewhere.
Oh wait, no, it's not a sign. It's literally a head cutout.
Oh, the one that's over.
Yeah, the head cut out of Dolly over there. We're gonna have to come hang Dolly up whenever we get Chase on the podcast. It's gonna be pretty funny. Dude's a trip.
It's like, why is Dolly Parton chilling? Don't ask questions.
We'll go do a 2.5 hour pure country show, and he's wearing Dolly Parton across his front, and he's like, "This is my country shirt." Like, no, country shirts are a pearl snap, bro.
Oh god,
I'd love to see that dude show up in a pearl snap with like real Wranglers.
Oh my god,
starch and everything.
You talking like old school country?
Like show up on a horse, come gallop him in, be like, "Win sound check." Like, you missed it.
You really selling the whole country theme, man.
They do a good job though. I really enjoy their '90s shows. Their '90s country shows are pretty sick. After 7 years of hearing the same festival set,
Oh yeah, I can imagine so.
Turning over to '90s country was pretty cool. But yeah. So what y'all hung Melody this week, or no? Y'all hung Meyer. That wasn't a melody rig. That 21 LFC was some shit though.
Dude, what? Now, like I said, that was the first time experiencing that rig, and it was something else. I was very impressed for a fully powered rig.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why. I just have this mentality where, you know, powered equipment, you know, active equipment. I'm like, it'll never be at the level that passive equipment is. But that really just blew me out the water, you know. And the other half of that was, you know, they were in a tent.
Yeah.
And how much freaking PA they used in a tent.
Let's put 12 21 LFCs under a tent.
Yeah, and I'm like, and the dude, one of the dudes is telling me, he's like, "Oh, this is nothing." I'm like, "You realize you're in a tent, right?" And he's like, "Oh, this isn't nothing." I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? You've got like he had, I forget how many of those line arrays. I'm telling you, he had 8 or 9 of those 18s flying on either side, and then at the stage, 4 double stack 21s.
That's like when we put. I don't think you were there for sound check. When we did the fair this year, we had 8 1000Zs on, what was it, 9, 18. It was 36,000 watts run to them. And it was a stressful week getting ready for this fair. And there were so many speakers. I couldn't get a Penske or any truck with a liftgate to save my life. So we had to ramp everything into the back of a Ryder truck. And dude, when we hit the bass drop on 16 18s, it was 8 dual 18s, 8 1000Zs on 36,000 watts. Man, it was coming off of a Crest Pro Rack. The whole entire arena, I thought I was going to shake. I thought I was going to shake the screws out of the tin.
That's what we like to hear.
Like I thought, and it was cool because when you're standing on the stage, you hear the bass drop. The tin above you starts to rattle, and then you can actually hear the tin rattle down as the bass travels. So it's like, I know we don't have spatial awareness on these microphones, but the spatial audio that was coming out of the bass drop, it was like, whoa, just like you could hear the rattling down the freaking stadium. It was so cool. And I'm really glad they set the stage up sideways, though. They didn't set it up shooting the length of the arena because we didn't have enough height to hang more than, I think we did 6. We did 6 KF 730s aside and 4 front fills. Dude, it was bad. It was slamming. We had an 85 kW generator. We were at 208 running 3-phase. Dude, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I had a rough week getting ready for this. It was last minute. They signed the tech rider without calling me for the headliner.
I remember you telling me that.
He calls me. He's like, "Hey man, I don't know what half of these words mean. Do you have these lights?" And I'm like, "What? No, no, I don't. I don't own any of this. When did you sign this?" He's like, "Oh, like 6 months ago."
And I'm just now figuring out about it.
Like, dude, I needed to know about this before you told me. I need to know about what they need before you even tell me your budget, so I could tell you whether or not you can even afford them. But we ended up making it work. Shout out Ty Grammer. Dude pulled through last minute, gave me some feeder, and he ended up giving me 8 of some Solar 7s, which is some pretty cool little fixtures, man. They zoom from a beam to a wash, and the actual tour showed up with some Chauvet Mavericks, some Maverick beams, and some Maverick. It was like some hybrid LED prism beam, whatever. I didn't read much into them, but those we try not to cuss here. Those some bitches were bright. The discharge on those LEDs was insane. I mean, it matched like a 400 watt Osram. It was unreal, the discharge from these things. Like they freaking ran 4 of the beams and 4 of the prism, whatever you want to call them, intelligent moving heads. 8 total fixtures on 30 amps, and like never looked back. Nothing ever got hot. Never had a hot extension cord. Nothing, you know. And everything we run is L530, L1430, and L2130. But yeah, dude, that was an awesome group to work with. That was Diamond Rio. They sounded awesome. Their front of house guy, their front of house guy came up and he's like, he like pinked the rig, ran it through smart, like turned a couple of faders. He's like, all right, see you later. Just walked off.
What?
I'm like,
No way.
sound check. He's like, oh, you know, they know how to run their own monitors. We're all self-contained. I mean, I'm getting signal out front, so as long as the cables work, we'll be fine.
All right, dude.
Whatever, bro.
Yeah.
He rolls off. He took all of like 10 minutes to get everything going. Rolls off, and he comes back 6 hours later, and he's like, all right, hand me my drive lines. So I just literally unpatch my M32, hand it to him. He plugs it into his M32. Like, he's touring with an M32. It wasn't like a Pro 2 or Digico or anything like that. Just pulls up an entry-level Midas console, runs this massive artist. Sounded amazing. Like, he did a really good job. I was very blown away. He got so much energy out of that PA. Like,
Dude knew what he was doing.
nothing. I mean, every now and then he'd run the high mids of the 730s. He'd run them into the yellow, but like that rig that I have, it's got Claire Brothers stamped all over it. And I don't know if they did any type of tuning or anything with it, but I have not touched any of those amps since I bought it to run that 730 array. It's clear as day.
I cannot tell you the amount of compliments I've gotten on that 730 array. Every time you've flown it,
Yeah.
so many people have told me about how clear it is.
Yeah.
You know, and rightfully so. Every time I listen to it, I cry a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. You know, the highs and really the mids too. The mids just really come through so good, so good.
And it's a 3-way box, but it's ran 2-way. So you have your lows and then you have a mid high. And dude, to be honest, I mean, it's rare you find a box that's that clear with internal crossovers and like internal mechanical parts.
They tuned them. They had to.
They
had to.
Yeah. I mean, I still I use the UX audio processor from EAW, but that's just to set, you know, delays, listening distance, what subs I'm using, limiters, stuff like that. You know, because you can go in and tune the highs to not throw as far, or, you know, not if you're not flying as high. Like if I'm on an SL75 versus a 250 or an SL75 versus, you know, an arena, if I can fly the box 20 feet high, I can drive it and not make anyone angry. But if you're on a 75,
like at the PMAC,
there's a lot of high end coming out of them boxes,
dude. Yeah,
I gotta hand as much as I'd rather BNC over an RCF driver. Those RCF drivers in there are screaming. They are hot. Most of the 10s in mine have been changed over to BNC over the years as they've started to just basically disintegrate. They don't break. Like, you don't blow them. They just dry rot.
Kind of like what we were dealing with at the club the other day.
Freaking club the other day. You know, you got two 1000s in there with some 650Zs in the front, and bass drop happens. You just hear. I'm like how?
Not a blown driver.
Like it's only a 6,000 watt amp driving it. You know,
only
driving one sub.
Only. He says.
I'm like, well, why is it broken? It ain't even blown. I open it up and there's like a little tear in the freaking suspension of the driver. I'm like, come on. Like, can you at least blow? I mean, like, I feel like I'm really underpowering you if you're dying from the suspension.
Yeah. Well, hey, but that should be a testament to the quality. You know, you're more likely to, you know, freaking dry rot the speakers than you are to blow them.
EAW's got that same problem GM had with that bulletproof motor you were telling me about.
Oh, yeah, those freaking 3.8 V6s, man. Yeah, that's why they went bankrupt.
Well, if the motor can't break, you can't pay somebody to fix it.
Right. You know, if something doesn't break, you're not making money on repairs. It's just that simple.
Right. Yeah. Those of y'all who don't know, Nash replaced me in the service. I was very happy to get out, and he took my job.
Unfortunately.
It was great. Yeah, he stuck behind for the. Well, no, I wouldn't say unfortunately. I didn't have the best, command. They were new. They were young. Not against the first sergeant, but he never went to war or anything. He never seen battle. He was very. Oh, what do you call it? He was very administrative. Everything was very correct, and
That's a lot of the Army now, though.
Yeah.
That's why I say, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's still, don't get me wrong, it's still a great, it's a great gig to deal, but it's a lot of mental BS.
Yeah.
It's more like the constant, mind games that they mess with you. It's not the physical aspect. That's whatever.
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
I mean, a lot of the old farts that were angry all the time, they were getting out. I'm really sad that you didn't get to meet Sudam. That dude is off his rocker.
Ah, man, I heard so many stories about him too.
He is 100%. That dude is off his rocker. He would sit in the Humvee sideways so he could pick his legs up and put them in the Humvee because he couldn't bend his knees all the way anymore on his own because he had got too injured at the other 2 times that he went out to the freaking desert. So he would have to pick his leg up and then pull the rest of his leg in so he could swing his leg into the Humvee, but he was too good at fixing stuff for them to kick him out.
That's a man with some stories. Oh yeah,
and he'd call if he liked you, he'd call you things like pudding or brownie scout, and like he would make fun of you so hard. But if he knew you were just going to be a pushover, like useless or high speed, whatever, he'd be real nice to you. He'd be like, yes, we're getting released at 1600 today, and this is going to be your workload, and I would appreciate it if you got this done. Please commence your work. And then he'd holler, pudding! What you doing today? You just gonna be lazy, or like you gonna get any work done? And it'd be somebody like me who's passed, like every inspection's passed, everything's good to go. Like I'm just looking for extra shit to do because the day is just gonna take forever, and then he'll just ride you for the rest of the day for no reason. Like he wasn't even my NCO; he had nothing to do over me. Like I was on my own. I was over my own section.
that's the great thing about being Seaburn.
Yeah, it's you and a helper.
It's you and by yourself, and that's it.
They'd assign you, like if you needed help doing something, they'd find the worst person who they knew was not going to do anything outside for the day. And they'd be like, go help him count masks. And it's like,
And that's okay.
it's like, bro, just go smoke a cigarette and leave me alone.
Yeah, right. That's exactly. That's the motion of that, when you get assigned your helpers, it's like, hey, we're really not doing much today. So like if you just want to like take a nap and go screw off somewhere, like go do that.
Don't get caught.
Yeah, just don't get caught. I didn't tell you to do that. Don't throw my name under the bus.
No, but yeah, that's some funny stuff. I do miss it sometimes, man. Sometimes I think about it. I actually called a recruiter a few years ago.
Don't do it.
I know.
Don't do it.
It was like drugs, man.
It's a toxic relationship, man. Don't do it.
It was easier for me to quit drinking than it was for me to quit the Army. Like, I just one day, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to quit drinking. But then sure enough, I'm like, man, I wonder if I really miss the Army. I should get in contact with them. And, dude, I was right there. Like, I was calling my old friends and everything, and they were just like, nah, just stay out.
That's my thing. If you have the means to make it for yourself outside the Army, then don't go back.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, there's really, I don't know. It's just once you're out, you had your reasons for getting out. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, the service was easy for me. It's like, yeah, you got to work. It's long hours. It's hot. It's cold. The PT uniform never matched the weather that you were doing PT in.
No, and that I never understood that.
It's still 50 degrees outside. You don't need pants. Dude, I'm from the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. Like, we never see 50.
Or, like, the one that really, really aggravated me and it pissed me off was, like, it'd be 30 degrees outside, but because it's not October 15th yet, you can't wear your winter clothes. I'm like, what kind of BS rule is that? Like, cold is cold.
Post Command Sergeant Major, who's lived here for 6 years and loves the snow.
Yeah, okay.
Says that.
Do you, like, the anemic people don't love the snow?
Winter PTs are not meant to be worn until after the winter solstice. It's like what?
Yeah, what rule is that? It's cold is cold, all right? It doesn't matter what day of the year it is. Cold is cold and hot is hot. And like and the inverse is true, springtime comes around and it's like, February, March, whatever, it might be March 1st and it's 80 degrees outside, but because it's not March 15th, you still have to wear your winter PTs.
Oh yeah, we're going to you're going to need your pants. your long sleeves and your jacket while you're at it. But you can take your jacket off to run. Like I don't even like running. I'm going to die anyway.
It's like before anybody has ever even started working out, everybody's just drenched in sweat at this point because you're wearing winter clothes and it's hot outside.
Well, that was like, of course, you know, my dad told me to, don't join the Army. He was like, dude, if you're smart enough, join the Air Force. Do not join the Army. Well, my idiot self, I wouldn't join the Army anyway.
Right.
And he's like, all right, what job did you get? And I was like, chemical. He's like, oh, that means you get to go to Fort Leonard Wood.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah. What you know about that place? He's like, it's the shittiest place on the face of the earth.
I don't know, man. I'd say I'd give that token to Fort Hood, or I'm sorry, Fort Cavazos now.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I did enough time at Fort Hood. I really didn't hate Fort Hood.
It's not a matter of hating it. Think about all the people that go missing there.
Well, I don't think anybody would want to deal with me for long enough to. I'm pretty sure the simple answer would be if someone took me and disappeared me from Fort Hood, they would eventually get tired of me, and I'd probably get returned to the exact spot they picked me up in, just hoping someone would catch them on camera so they could get put out of their misery.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the person that takes you. That's a warning to everybody now.
But they're like my dad. He was like, yeah, no, there's nothing out there. He's like, there's a bowling alley. It's probably the same one from '86. And when I went up there, I'm pretty sure it was the same one from '86.
At Leonard Wood?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was nothing.
When I was there, it was still antiquated.
And a lot of the senior NCOs up there would joke. They'd be like, "Yeah, welcome to Fort Leonard Wood. This is the only place where you can wake up, slip on the ice, fall in the mud, get up and dust yourself off." And I didn't really understand what that meant until it was like, it's probably like February. And you'd wake up and it'd be like -2, -3, snow, okay? And they'd be like, all right, we're going to do PT in pants and a T-shirt. And I'm like, dude, it's snowing. And they're like, yes, but by the time we get out there, it's going to be starting to warm up and get wet. And I'm like, what? It show up to PT, and it's still, like 3 degrees. And all of a sudden, it's like 20. Like out of nowhere. Like you get done with your push-ups, and it's 20 degrees. And they're like, okay, now we're going to go run up and down the hill. By that time, it's 40 degrees. And it's like, dude, what are we doing? What is this? And they're like, okay, when you're done, go put on your uniforms, get ready to go to class, and don't pack anything or wear anything under it because the high today is going to be like 75. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, that's an 80. Like you're talking about a 70-degree swing.
Yeah,
this place is hell.
The weather at Fort Leonard Wood made me really appreciate the weather in Louisiana to a different level.
Yeah, at least when you wake up and it's kind of cool in Louisiana. It's only like a 20-degree difference throughout the day.
Yeah, at most 30.
Fort Leonard Wood was disgusting.
Yeah, that
anyone who gets stuck up there, I pray that you just don't go. Just don't go there.
Go during the summer if you have a choice.
Yeah, that way it's just hot. It's just hot the whole time. Hot and wet.
It's a lot easier to ruck march through, your 16K through the hot than it is through 3 or 4 feet of snow. I'd much rather deal with that than the 3 or 4 feet of snow that they get in the winter.
Well, I didn't realize. I turned 21. I turned 21 in Fort Hood and didn't realize it was a dry county.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And I was due to come home like, man, it was like a week after my birthday. Yeah, because it was April 10th. And like a week after my birthday, I was planning to go home. I could not drink for my 21st birthday, which is probably a good thing. Looking back, 15 years from there, having to quit, realizing that it's probably a good thing I couldn't drink on my 21st birthday because I wouldn't have woke up for formation the next morning.
Hey.
I can honestly say I've never been there. I have been late before. I've learned to just kind of stand off on the side and make sure you can hear what's going on, but no one can see that you're there.
Yeah.
And then just like appear.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you don't mess up a lot, they don't question you a lot.
Yeah, it's when you stick out like a sore thumb.
Some of them We will not mention their names.
Okay.
If anything would go wrong, it was instantly, is so-and-so here today? Like, no, they didn't do it. They didn't break this shit this time.
Yeah,
It's
it wasn't
okay.
them.
It wasn't them. We're not really sure what happened. It may have just been the end of its life. Oh, how long have we been doing this? Oh, right at 30 minutes. Good. That was the plan. I'm trying to. My idea is to make this about 30 minutes
Yeah.
and just bullshit with people that I know and people that I like.
I'm cool with just bullshitting.
And then when you get an EDM artist on here, you can do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'll go sit by the mixer and like just never pan over and let y'all talk about the EDM world. But I want to interview the country artists. I want to interview the soft rock.
I'll run the mixer on that.
There you go.
I could totally do that.
I want to get one of my buddies on here. His name's Connor Graham.
I know Connor.
I like to call him my lawyer.
Connor's good people. I like him. He's cool people.
My retainer fee for him is I let him indefinitely use some stage lights for his band.
Hey yo, hey yo.
And I was just like, yeah, when I need him back, I'll take him back. And then I needed him one day, and it was too late. And I was like, I'm gonna just go buy some new lights. So I just started buying lights. That was a problem. I should have never started buying lights.
Yeah, because now you got Ducky. When are you gonna get more lights?
Yeah, that's the biggest issue with people is now we start doing these cool concerts, and they're like, well, when are you gonna get these? Never. I can't afford them.
Not yet.
They're like, oh yeah, you can. That doesn't mean I want to buy them.
Not yet.
You know, I've got 8 lasers that I've plugged in twice. At this point, I'm just going to start using them just so that I know they still work. But yeah, it ought to be a lot of fun. So all you out there, when this goes live, start commenting who you want to hear. We want to get some local people out here, people with military backgrounds if they have them. If not, people with interesting stories, you know, to tell why they do the dumb stuff or the random stuff.
Yeah. Why do you subject yourself to the dumb BS that you do?
Like when you get a 6-day heads up that, oh, by the way, I know all of the crew is on vacation this weekend, but you're going to need to cancel your fishing trip because I booked a show and I need you to start calling for help.
Oh, they gave you 6?
I was at a show Saturday. We had just got done setting up, and the artist came out. I'm going to call him out. His name's Chase Tyler.
Oh, no. We love you, Chase. We love you.
He came out, and he's like, man, I got some bad news. And I'm like, am I getting fired or something? Like, is the budget not here to keep me on all these shows? It's fine. I'll take some time off because I already work like 11 days a week. It's okay. He's like, no, I booked a show next week. And, you know, the light guy's not going to be here. We always knew that, which was fine because originally it was a festival. He's like, and neither is the other audio guy because he's taking his wife on a date. And I was like, uh-huh. He's like, so you're going to need to not go fishing and start calling for help. And I was like, I got one guy who I just met who's interested in running sound and has done it for some churches and learned how to do it in an audio school, but has never done a live band. I'm going to call him and we're going to pull this off. Watch. And it ended up being Saturday. This Saturday. It was actually a really awesome show. I got to hand it to him.
Dang, that was the show you wanted me to come on. Oh, I would have.
That was the show I called you about, man. It would have been, dude, it was bad. Like, setup was great. The lights were great. The audio was great. The room sounded way better than I would have ever expected. The stage was good. The size of the stage was good. I mean, there was plenty of room to put the drum riser, the shield. I mean, the RF inside, I mean, no interference whatsoever. No difficulty syncing microphones. I mean, the ear mixes were just gorgeous. Now, of course, we use a lot of RF venue tools, and we do have helicals. We do have RF paddles for the microphones, but still, I mean, it was awesome. The show was great.
What was the venue?
It's a little place. It used to be called the Gym. It's out in Livingston Parish, and now it's gonna be called Little Nashville Music. I don't know the full name of it. Everybody's calling it Little Nashville.
Okay. So it's already got a reputation, it sounds like.
It's basically like half of the Texas Club.
Okay.
The stage is there. It'd be really awesome if they turned the little side storage room into like, they could make it a little bit smaller to give you more access to the stage right side of the stage, but turn that into a little green room. I mean, the dance floor is a great size. It's sectioned off from the rest of the bar. I mean, everyone did a great job. I mean, the place has it. I think the place has some really good potential. The stage is a good, probably 2.5 feet off the ground. It's probably 20 feet wide, 22 feet wide, 16 feet deep. I mean, you've got room.
It's a decent size.
You've got room to put a band on there.
Yeah.
They just need they need a little bit more electricity, ease of access electricity at the stage. They probably just need to put a good little distribution box up, distribution panel, common ground, all that. You know, simple stuff for making a band. I mean, it was great. The little Dynacord rig kicked ass. The place was rocking. Everybody was dancing. It ended up being a really good show.
I like that Dynacord rig.
Dude, the XA is just the XA, the XA Pro, and the Cobra are just the easiest rigs to just stack and go. I mean, you literally just flip them, stack them, strap them down, and walk off. I mean, and you can't break them. I'm running the L series amps from Dynacord with all the Dynacord presets in it, and I'm very happy with them. They've never failed me. They kick ass. They have they put out way more power than I expected. I think they're all Class H. I'm very happy with them. They perform very well on that Dynacord rig. So
I mean, the Dynacord rig itself performs very well.
yeah, the thing's so old. I need to strip the boxes down and and coat them, get all the carpet. They're like they've got to be the original like test dummy boxes from Dynacord. That's how old those things are. But man, they're kicking. They surprised me a lot more than a lot of small format PAs could ever surprise me. So, yeah. So, any last words for you, man? I think we're gonna call this one off.
Nah, I'm pretty set, man. I like how this is going.
I can't believe we actually pulled the trigger on this.
Dude, I mean, it was enough freaking, hey, we gotta get this done. Let's do it. And finally came to fruition. So, yeah, it's kick ass.
I told you if you wanted to get it going, let me know. I'll buy the shit.
I'm really, really thankful for that, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Really. And it's like, and so is Duck, because Duck is the other half of this. And, he wants to get this going as well. So I know, especially once this airs or whatever, he's going to be like, whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting y'all to just be like all at once. Okay, we need to get this going now.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do is just buy it and start going.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Get on Amazon, order everything, set it up, and then just pull the trigger. And then find out that you don't have the drivers in stock. You can't find the drivers to make the mixer work on your computer, so you have to randomly pull up an old mixer that has USB on it.
Are we going to call out the company?
No, I'm not going to call them out because they're local, and I don't like any of the products they make.
Oh, don't say that, man.
I just, I don't.
That's fair.
I don't.
That's fair.
It's great for studio use, but it's limited. You can't.
I like their stuff personally. I mean, I've already had that spiel with you. I love it. I mean, that's what I learned on. I like their stuff.
I don't. I'll just leave it at that. I don't.
To each their own.
Well, they're. I don't even know if you can consider them local anymore. They did just get bought up by Fender USA.
Oh, see, now you're just giving it away.
But
you're just giving it away at that point. If y'all know,
Works Audio subs are freaking awesome. That's another. They're kind of part of the family.
I don't think I've heard any Works Audio.
You ever been to? Have you ever been to?
Maybe I have.
There's a club on 3rd Street that's all Works.
Well, see, I don't go any clubs in Baton Rouge.
I think they have 6-a-side, Monterey. They're small format, narrow throw. obviously because it's a downtown bar in Baton Rouge, so it's a shotgun bar. 110 degrees would just cause problems.
Maybe I have heard.
And I want to say there's either 4 or 6 18s under the stage, and then I think there's 6 aside arrays. It's overkill. The lighting rig in there. This is I don't know why I can't. The name always slips my mind, and it sucks because I've probably done 10
Register?
or 15. I've probably done 10 or 15 shows down there. No, it's down the road from Boudreaux and Thibodeau's. It's a really well known Basin Music Hall. The Basin Music Hall.
Okay.
Kind of a tight stage, which is expected for
Downtown Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I mean you really don't. I mean you really don't get many options, man. It's weird layout. The front of house is really in like a bass trap, but you still get some clarity back there. I know the guy that did the install, and he paid good people to go tune the rig and really put some good presets in there, and that rig slaps. Like, I mean, you've got headroom for days and days and days. It's beautiful. I mean, it kicks. He's definitely known more as a lighting guy. Like, his ability and his contacts for lighting are insane. Like, he can do some lighting shows that would just make other people just look like amateurs. You know, he could do it. You know, you could send him out with 36 fixtures and he'd fill up an entire music hall. You know, where other people would need 48, 56 fixtures or something. You know,
It's kind of like you would sound.
yeah. And that's my boy right there. He's good. He's good at what he does, and he's a fair guy. Like, he's expensive, but he's worth it. Definitely one of the higher priced guys, but definitely kicking some ass.
Get your money's worth.
Oh yeah, you're never going to get let down if you order a lighting package from him. No, no. And the guys he sends out, I mean, they're running. He runs exclusively Hog, but
I love Hog.
Even
I rave about Hog.
Even the guys that he sends out, and look, there are a lot of people that really don't like Hog for very valid reasons. A lot of it has to do with the OS inside of the Hog, but
That's fair.
but man,
As a non-lighting guy, though, as somebody that's dealt with Hog just a little bit, I freaking
it's
love
fun.
it. I love it.
As long as it's set up right,
Yeah.
you can walk in and run a really nice show at Hog. I did get my hands on a Diamond 9 from Avo.
Oh?
That thing is gorgeous. I mean, worth I think they're going for like $90K or something.
Yeah, they're not
The
cheap.
price is insane on them.
They're not cheap.
But, dude, what is it like? 16, 20-something universes that comes out of this thing? I mean, it's like an unlimited. Just the color abilities that come with a Diamond is insane. But I did watch somebody play with a Diamond console, and like in a state like sitting in an office playing with a Diamond, working with some intelligent lights and some different lighting profiles and stuff. Unbelievable. Like, that thing is gorgeous. I mean, it looks like a spaceship.
Yeah.
It runs like a spaceship. It is so fast.
With those freaking motorized faders and everything.
You know, I didn't play with it long enough to, and I don't know enough about lighting. I would imagine it has motorized faders.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, that's what
It does.
figured.
I don't know if you ever seen like the videos on them where they'll run their preset show and the faders are just doing like all this crazy stuff as the lights are going on and off.
You're not supposed to do that.
I know.
Anyone who watches this, please don't do that.
Yeah, I know
Just
you're
like,
not supposed
just like
to do
don't
that.
put your console in Mardi Gras mode.
No,
just because it can do it.
don't do it. It's really bad.
It's the fastest way to burn up some fader motors.
Yeah. But hey, show off the features. Why not? You know.
That's like the Grand MA. But I mean, the joke came out that the Diamond 9 was going to be the grandma killer.
I believe it,
and it probably will.
I think it'd be more than that.
Give it some time for people to really get their hands on it, and that Diamond is just going to be kicking.
Mm-hmm.
But back to him with the Hogs, man. He can run some shows. He can set up some shows. His ability to really manage and organize the right people to run everything, and that's one thing. Like he knows how to do everything, but he also understands that there's people who are better at designing and making things like pixel mapping and stuff like that. People that really enjoy getting down to the nitty gritty of pixel mapping. And watching people do that, Jordan Pembo, I'm talking about you, watching you do pixel mapping is cool. It's really cool. I don't know if you've ever seen someone do pixel mapping.
I have not. I've
But
never.
You've got to go to a show where Jordan has messed around with the hog enough to do pixel mapping.
Get me on.
And I don't. We're competitors. It's hard for me to just put you on my competitor's show.
Well, I'm not saying put me on his show, but like let's go watch him do some pixel mapping. You know what
if
I'm
they
saying?
end up getting, I'm not. Well, this is a story for another time. I hope they end up getting the 4th of July bash out in False River. If they do, he sends out so many little. It's like some old Martin lights. I want to say there's 7 diodes per light, and they're a wash, but they're real narrow. And they put up, I think last time they did 24 of them, and he pixel mapped all of them. So whatever effect he would lay over to the pixel map, it would translate to where those Martins were on stage. So if you wanted red to fade into orange and into yellow to make it look like a fired flame effect, it would do it from the ground, from the stage floor up the wall into the roof, into those little Martin lights. And because it was pixel mapped and you could make all the lights fade at a certain color into a certain time, and it was all mapped on the hog, it looked, I mean, it would you would start here with red, and then it would turn to orange, and then it would turn to yellow, and then the red would turn to orange, and then the orange would turn to yellow, and it would do it all the way up the spectrum of lights that he had. Dude, it was so awesome.
It's art.
It was.
Yeah.
It's unreal. It's unreal what they can do with lights. It's really awesome. But yeah, go ahead and say your final words. We're gonna sign off here, and I'm gonna send you a file to edit.
Yeah, and that being said, a lot of people don't see what goes on behind the scenes, but there is a lot of work that's going on. Besides, you might see the man standing behind the controller, and that might just look like what he's doing, but he's doing a lot more than just standing behind the controller and the soundboard. There's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah,
it's art.
It's definitely an art. So,
thank your local production team.
Yeah, and all the people that organize warehouses so you can find cables.
Jesus, yeah.
I'm getting so tired of wrapping cables, man. So we'll see y'all next time. Hopefully we're going to shoot. My realistic goal is once a month to drop something. I'd like it to get closer to twice a month.
Once a week.
The end goal would be once a week, but I'm not editing videos.
Yeah. I don't have that, but I think I know somebody that can. We can make that work.
I have no problem shooting things, and I have no problem letting y'all use the space. I think we can shed some light on what happens before the artist gets on stage and what we go through. So let's have some fun.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I definitely pretty sure once I get this file, I can send it out to a select few people just to let them see how the studio is.